Brett Velicovich. Brett, thanks so much for being here. First of all, just your reaction to the implications of this strike, both in Afghanistan and how we use drones generally.
Well, we've got long-term implications with this strike. And look, tactical mistakes have long-term strategic consequences. That's what I was always taught when conducting these operations. And the fact is, there's a major responsibility that comes with all this. When you literally have the ability to choose whether or not someone lives or dies, you'd better be right. And unfortunately, this team was completely wrong. And the team that conducted this, they're going to have to look at their criteria for conducting these strikes in the future. And the Biden administration is going to have to specifically look at what's known as these signature strikes, meaning they were given the permission to fire against these targets just based on a signature that they had a pattern of suspected militant activity versus actually knowing who was in that vehicle. And that's very dangerous. And this is a very atypical operation. Typically, these over-the-horizon strikes require a lot of pattern of life, a lot of intelligence that takes place over the courses of days and weeks and sometimes even months. And this was a situation where the military was in a defensive posture. They had to act fast from what they believed to be an imminent threat, but clearly a lot of mistakes were made. And I think overall the drone program is going to be scarred by this going forward because they're going to have to take a closer look at how this criteria is done in the future. You've mentioned that when you expand the parameters of how these drones are used, inevitably you're going to have more complications. And if you don't have human intelligence, that's effectively what you're saying. If you're following patterns and using signals intelligence, you're going to get things wrong. And if we don't have boots there, how much more difficult is it to strike ISIS-K or al-Qaeda? Well, this is the danger of not having intelligence on the ground, and that's the whole issue with us taking a lot of our troops out there is you can't determine from 10,000 feet in the air whether or not the target you're going after is stuffing explosives in his car or groceries. You're not going to be able to fight this war from trailers in Nevada, and that's the problem. We need boots on the ground. We need folks there that are able to confirm or deny this information, and that's the way it typically works. You need multiple pieces of intelligence to confirm that information so that you can be more precise. And unfortunately, the Biden administration, they want to fight this war from the United States. They think they can defeat these terrorist organizations from halfway around the world, and that's unfortunately the reason that mistakes like this happen is because you can't do that. And I think if people think that you can just simply conduct these operations, these over-the-horizon operations without intel on the ground, without eyes and ears, they're in for a rude awakening. That's a great point. Over the horizon sounds great until you don't have everything you need at your disposal to actually make it effective and targeted. You know about what you're talking about. Brett Velicovich, thank you.